Hello everyone, welcome to Texture Myth. In this session, we are going to talk about another very important topic related to medical terminology, where we will be seeing what is combining, or you can say the connecting vowels. Okay, we all know that in medical terminology there are some vowels that we use to connect two root words or to complete the entire meaning of the medical term. Okay. So by the end of this session, you will be able to understand what is medical coding combining vowels, how to use it, or what all information it provided. Okay. So basically we need to figure out like how to identify these combining vowels in the medical term and what all information we capture from here. So in this session, we will proceed in the very same way. Like firstly, I'll explain you what is combining vowels. Then we will see some examples so that you can relate it with your exam questions or maybe the interview question, because while you are preparing for the interviews or exam, you should cover at least 2 to 3 examples of each combining vowels, so that later on you can relate the things with your process. Okay, but before we proceed further with this session, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow it sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic, because for time being we are just mainly focusing on medical coding combining vowels. But prior to that, you should know what is medical terminology, what is root word, what is prefix, suffix, and all other stuff that we have already covered. Okay. Alright, now moving ahead, you can see in this slide I have noted down some notes for you which is related to combining word. So if someone asks you what is combining word, so you can simply say that a combining word is formed by two or more root words, usually a body part or a system, joined by combining vowels, usually O, and often followed by a suffix. So these are the three things that you will see in a combined way, and that thing we can consider as a combining word. So overall it's a compound medical term. Okay, if you notice, like here I mentioned usually O, because in most of the terminology you will find that O is used as a combining vowels, but that doesn't mean like only O is there. There are other combining vowels as well, but mostly you will find the O. Clear? Now the question comes, what is combining word? Like, although we got the things like what all things are there, like parameters, that two or more root words are there, joined by combining vowels, right, often followed by a suffix, but what exactly it means? So these terms, whatever we have discussed, describe more complex anatomical relationship or conditions involving multiple body part. Okay, so when there are some terms that define the complex anatomical relationship or the condition or the situation of involving multiple body parts, then in that case the term which we use, or the not term, I would say the vowel we will use, is considered as a combining vowel or combining word. Okay, now those who know about the words, like we all know, right, there are A, E, I, O, U. These are the letters that we consider it as vowels. Now how to use it, or how you will find out these things into a terminology. So to explain this thing, what we will do, we will simply see the combining vowel here. You can see combining vowel. So here I have created this a simple table for you, where in the first column there are multiple columns. In the first column we have combining vowel, just like O, I, E, U, A. Then we have second column for when it is used, third column for its example 1 with meaning, and then example 2, and then its meaning. So overall these columns we have that will help us to understand what is vowels, what are their meanings, what are their examples. Okay, so let's go one by one. But before we move, let me tell you, some of you might be thinking like why we are not writing it in an order like A, E, I, O, U, because usually we learn in that way, right? Here I'm not using in that sequence, because I want to show the most usable or most common vowel previously in the beginning of the series, and then the one which is extremely rare or rarely used, right, that thing we will keep it in a last column. And that is the way, like That is why like I changed the order. Otherwise we can do it in a normal way. Yeah, fine. Now the first thing is O, that is the most common combining vowel of medical terminology. So now the question comes when it is used. So in default cases it is used mostly, right? So let's take some example. The first example is cardiology. So here in cardiology we know that O is a combining vowel that help us to connect two terms, right? And if there is a term or medical terminology, complete medical terminology, cardiology, that means the study of heart, right? So here you will find the O as a combining vowel. In the similar way, we have second example, that is osteopathy, which is related to the bone treatment. So again here you will see that only one common thing in between these two examples is the O, that is denoting the combining vowel O. Okay, so if we want to show or portray the thing related to study of heart, we will use the term that is cardiology, where O is used as a vowel, connecting vowel or combining vowel. Okay, and if we are talking about the situation of bone treatment, then terminology will be used as osteopathy, where O is again used as a vowel. Okay, so these are the thing related to O, which is the most common. Sometime in interviews they might ask like which one is the most commonly used combining vowel. So you have to say that O is the most commonly used. Now after O we have I, combining vowel I, which is used with some Latin roots. So like I'll show you the examples. You can see bronchiolitis, bronchiolitis, okay, which is nothing but an inflammation of small airways. Okay, so this is the thing. Similarly we have psychiatry. Psychiatry means treatment of mind. So if there is a psychiatry term, you can see here we are using the vowel I. Okay, and remember one thing, these are just few examples. There are other things, there are alternatives, there are so many, because in these situations like nothing is fixed. You will see lots of other variation as well that comes along your way when we will be studying this in detail, right? This is just a basic example just to relate the things with you. Okay, then we have a third combining vowel, that is E, which is very rarely used as compared to O and I, and is used in select word. For example, erythrocyte. So here you can see we are talking about the red blood cell which contains the combining vowel as E, erythrocyte. Similarly we have meningocephalitis, that is related to the inflammation of meninges and brain. Okay, next term is U, which is again very rare because we are writing it in a way that first one is the most commonly used, then this second one is below to that, and then it will decrease as we go bottom. Okay, fine. So U is used very rarely, and for example here you can see example one is sinogram means imaging of sinus cavity. Okay, likewise we have nullipera means women who never gave birth. So these are the some things, right? Some example. I'm sure like if you have if you have covered the root word and prefix and suffix part, then now you can relate the things like what is the root word, what is the suffix, what is the prefix, and what is the combining vowel. So this is just a short session which will help us to understand the term combining vowel, because sometime in interviews they might ask you this question. Okay, next we have is A, which is extremely rare, mostly for use for historical or derived. For example here you can see malaria. Okay, so this is an infection once thought caused by the air. So you can see here also we are using the term A. Then we have placenta from the Latin, which is a flat shaped organ. So these are the all examples as well as the description for the combining vowel. I know it's a very small session, but later in upcoming session like we are going to start the things in a very detailed manner, so don't worry about it. We will discuss each and everything in detail. and for now, like this is what exactly I wanted to share with you all. And for today there is one question for all of you. Please answer this question, because this will help you to prepare well for your CPC as well as exams and interviews. Okay, because we have learned so many things, so if you don't recall it things on timely manner, then you might forget it, right? So today's question is, what is the meaning of adeno or adeno root word? Okay, I'm sure you know about this answer, so just share your knowledge in the comment section so that others can take a reference from it. In case if you don't know the answer, don't worry, just go through the previous session and there you will find everything in detail, and after it is clear, please do share the answer then. Okay, so yeah, that's all for today. See you in the next session with new topics. So thank you for watching TechSharemeth.